how to use shape tweens in Adobe Animate to enhance your storytelling. So I'm going to go to Adobe Animate. Now that you know how to create a shape tween, I want to show you how they can be used in the telling of your story. So I have here a bat hitting a ball, and there's a explosive sound when the bat hits the ball. That explosive sound is a shape tween. This bat and the ball are motion tweens. So I'm going to recreate the entire story again to kind of give you an idea of how it's done. So I'll create a new file. I'm going to make it 25% so I can see the entire stage. And the first thing I'm going to create is my bat. So I need a brown color for the bat. And instead of hand drawing it, I think I'll just use the rectangle tool, and then I will warp the shape. So I'm going to go to my selection tool. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit transform and then envelope. And I'm going to just push this in to make the bat's handle. I'll pull this up to make the curved top of the bat. And I'll pull this down to make the curved bottom of the bat. Okay, not perfect, but it is what it is. So there's my bat. I can take an eraser if I want to just tweak it a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so there's my bat. So what I want to do is I'm going to create the bat in one layer. I'm going to then make another layer. And in that layer, I will create the ball. So I'm going to go down here to the first layer. To the second layer. And I'll create the ball. So I'm going to pick a totally different color for the ball. I'm going to go to my oval tool, and over here I'm going to create the ball. So in this layer is the ball, and this layer is the bat. So the first thing that I want to deal with is the layer 1 where the bat is. So I'm going to lock the layer with the ball so that I don't accidentally work in the wrong layer. So I'm going to hit the selection tool. I'm going to right click on the bat, and I'm going to hit create motion tween. Okay, and I'm going to make the entire animation about, maybe 7 seconds. So in that time, I want the bat to swing. So if I go to the free transform tool, you'll see this dot in the middle. If I try and swing the bat now, it's just going to spin around this dot. So in order to have it rotate the way I want around the handle of the bat, I have to pull this dot down to where I want it. Now, I have this timeline, and I'm going to work with the position of the bat and the timeline at the same time. So I'm going to move the timeline a little bit, and I'm going to then rotate the bat a little bit. So I've got to swing back a little, swing back a little more, swing back a little more. Okay, and now I'm going to start swinging the bat forward. So back forward a little, swing back forward a little more. And I want the ball to hit the bat right at the 40 frame mark. So I'm going to keep in mind that at 40 frames, the ball and the bat will connect. And then the bat's going to follow through. So this whole thing just takes a few seconds. And the bat has followed through. Okay, So now this is what my animation looks like. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to now lock this layer and unlock this one. And I want to right click on the ball and create a motion tween. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to pull again this motion tween out to the same length as the bat. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to make sure that at the 40 frame mark, the bat and the ball connect. So I'm going to grab the ball and I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to make sure they connect at the 40 frame mark. Now I'm going to go to the end and I'm going to make sure that the ball flies off the stage by the end of the animation. I can edit the animation path just a little if I hit the selection tool. I can curve the path here and here so it looks more natural, like a ball flying. So now I have this animation of the ball being hit by the bat and flying off the stage. Now, one thing that I can do that can make it more realistic is I can go to the ball a little bit past the 40 frame mark, and I can squish it just a little bit and stretch it out just so that it looks like it's actually being hit by the ball. And then I can further move it along so that it looks like it's not. Yeah, there we go. I want it to look like it's being hit by the ball, but I also want it to rotate so that it's going along the path. Yeah, that's better. There we go. So I can further tweak it. It's rotated here, and then there we go. Okay. So it's almost like the ball gets distorted by being hit by the bat. So let's look at that again. Bam. Okay, perfect. Now, right at that 40 frame mark, I want a little visual explosion. So I'm going to lock both these layers, and I'm going to add another layer underneath. So I'll just add another layer, and now it's on top. I'm going to pull it down to the bottom, and I'm going to go to the 40 frame mark. And right at that 40 frame mark, I'm going to go to this bottom layer, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. I'm going to insert a blank keyframe here. And I'm also going to insert another blank keyframe here. Okay, so what I want is right here, I'm going to make a little yellow ball. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click yellow and I'm going to go to the oval tool and I'm going to create a little yellow ball and I'm going to bring it right underneath my bat and ball. And then I'm going to go to my blank keyframe that I just created. Well, here, I'm going to copy this ball. And then I'm going to go to the blank keyframe I just created over here. And I'm going to do edit, paste in place, which will paste it in the exact same spot it was before. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to transform and click envelope. And I'm going to distort it. I just pull it out so it looks kind of like a star. And then I want to make it smaller. It's a little too big. And then I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit the selection tool. I'm going to copy it. And again, I'm going to do edit, paste in place. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to rotate it so that I get what looks like a real explosion. Okay. So I have a keyframe here that looks just like a circle, and I've got a keyframe here that looks like an explosion. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a shape tween. And there is my explosion. And I don't want the explosion to stay there forever because that doesn't make any sense. There's going to be the crack of the bat and then the explosion's going to dissipate. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just push it back so it's only visible for a few seconds. And actually it'll be visible for less than a second, and it'll make my entire animation more interesting. So the bat comes back, it hits it, boom, and the ball flies off the stage. The next step is I'm going to add another layer, and that layer will be in the very bottomest bottom, way down here. I have to go back all the way to my beginning frame. I'm going to take my rectangle tool, and I have to find a color, a good color for the background, something I haven't used yet. So I'm going to pick this light blue, and I'll make it go across the whole thing. And now here is my finished animation. Okay, very nice. Now that I know I have my little 7-second animation exactly the way I want, I'm going to do File, Export, Export Video, and it's called Untitled 3. I don't want that. I want it to be called, so I will save as Bat and Ball Experiment. Okay, save. So I've named it Bat and Ball Experiment, and now I'm going to do File, Export, Export Video, and make sure you know where it's going to end up. The output is going to end up, in my case, in my downloads, which is fine. Otherwise, you don't know where to find it. So I'm going to now hit Export. And let's see if I can, oh wait, it's got to go through the media encoder, which will take a second. There we go, here it is, here's the media encoder, it'll encode here. So if you think of Adobe Animate as all the ingredients of a cake, when you put it in the media encoder, it's like the oven. It is baking it into a cake. And now I should get a little pop-up explaining that it has been exported. So we will go to my downloads. And there is my Bat and Ball Experiment. And let's see how it looks. Very nice. Okay, and now you see how you can use shape tweens in the creation of a story.